Imagine rent collection that costs less, saves you hours, and syncs perfectly with your property tools. That's what the best rent collection software delivers. With smart pricing and seamless integration, you can grow your rentals without adding extra work. Okay, first things first. When you're trusting a landlord rent collection platform with your rental income, you can't just take their word for it for anything. You actually have to see what other landlords who have used or are currently using the property management software are saying, the good, the concerning, and the bad. For that reason, I spent days digging through hundreds of reviews for both Baselane and TurboTenant. With Baselane, I came across a concerning review from a landlord who said that after using the platform, Baselane started withholding his rent payments, asking for proof of ownership and a lease copy, even though the lease was already on file. So, at first glance, that kind of thing sounds pretty frustrating to go through. I understand that. But from my experience, situations like these usually come up when, they need some extra verification and it's just triggered for some compliance reasons or another. It is a pretty rare case, though. I couldn't find other people talking about this or any other complaints about it. And when you consider the bigger picture here, this property management software has a really solid 4.6 out of 5-star rating overall, and most reviewers tell a very different story about this. Like, here's one landlord who said that switching tenants over to Baselane made rent collection really easy and even boosted her cash flow, something that every landlord would value. She also said that she couldn't say enough good things about the platform and their customer service. Apparently, she had a good time. Another Baselane user explained how Baselane became her all-in-one solution: the payments, the rental agreements, the tenant screening, and the secure access to all of her properties. That level of organization for her is priceless, right? When you have these multiple rentals to manage and you need that all in one place. Another longtime user compared Baselane against Apartments and Stressa and Inago, I haven't heard of that one, and Buildium, and they still ranked Baselane as the best. So they praised not only its low costs, but also how the company listens and responds to feedback. So that's really important stuff when you're researching a company or a platform. But you know what? TurboTenant is not without its good and bad either. Like, it holds a really strong 4.6-star rating, but here's one first-time landlord who pointed out a significant oversight, in their opinion, in their lease agreements tool. So seemingly it lacked a critical section for termination notice periods. He had to add his own 60-day clause, which was stressful for someone new to the business. So that is an area where Baselane's financial and legal focus seems to have a clear edge if it has those extra terms built in. However, TurboTenant shines for many users in other areas. One landlord called it an essential tool and a virtual partner that centralizes everything in the platform without costing much. He specifically highlighted how it makes reminders and payments easy for tenants. Another landlord praised TurboTenant's responsive customer service and its library of very informative and helpful educational resources for landlords. If your top priority is tenant communication and educational support, TurboTenant has many satisfied users. I think features are really where these rent collections platforms truly separate themselves from each other, right? Because the tools, in addition to the comments and the reviews, really explains the whole platform here. And rent collection software is not just about moving money from your tenants to yourself. It's this whole system. It's really about making the entire landlord experience smoother overall. So if you are a landlord, your biggest headache is not only collecting rent, it's what happens afterwards, like the fixing, the dealing with tenants, the bookkeeping, the tax preparation, the endless receipts. So like, this is all where Baselane doesn't just compete, especially in the tax stuff. Like, it really dominates here. So its automated bookkeeping is really a game changer. You just link your bank accounts and it automatically imports and categorizes every single transaction by property and expense type, perfectly aligned with, for example, Schedule E for taxes. It gives you a real-time automated summary of your cash flow for each property. So I used to waste Sunday afternoons writing things down and making things all add up, but now it just happens automatically. And unlike TurboTenant, which is fantastic for managing the tenant relationships with strong tools for listings, screening, and lease signing, Baselane is built to manage your money. A huge differentiator that makes Baselane stand out among other automated rent collection software is the Baselane banking. So you get this dedicated checking account, and if you use it for rent collection, they waive the typical $2 ACH transfer fee. So that may not sound like much of a fee, but it really adds up quickly if you're using an outside account. So you might as well just use their checking account and have it all in one place. TurboTenant's rent collection is solid, but it doesn't offer this kind of integrated fee-saving banking solution. Baselane is also thinking several steps ahead with features like virtual cards for secure trackable spending and even a loan program for investors looking to expand their portfolio. You can even mail checks directly to vendors from the platform for a pretty small fee. It's basically the financial control center, which does everything that I didn't know that I needed. TurboTenant fights back, though, with a lot of strengths of its own, especially if you're more hands-on with tenants. Its partnership with Thumbtack simplifies finding maintenance pros, so you don't have to deal with all that. And its Maintenance Plus service with Lula can almost fully automate repair requests, so you wouldn't have to deal with any of it. Its system for blasting your listing to dozens of sites is very efficient, and the ability to add assistance to your account from like other people helping out your account without you having to log in is really useful for property managers that don't want to have to log in every time they change something. If your daily routine is more about tenant turnover and maintenance coordination, TurboTenant's tools are more incredibly valuable for those kinds of work. I think, but for me, that is not as important, and the depth of Baselane's financial automation and that it combines banking, bookkeeping, and rent collection into one seamless flow really makes it the better rent collection software and the more powerful engine for growing your wealth long term. But is Baselane perfect? No, of course not. No rental property management platform is perfect, so if your primary goal is to find tenants and to get a lease signed quickly, I think TurboTenant's marketing and leasing tools are more streamlined and intuitive from the start, and that Baselane may not be as qualitative there. For TurboTenant, the main drawback is that it doesn't go as deep on the financial backend like the other one does. Like you'll more likely need to pair it with another tool for serious accounting, whereas Baselane kind of has that all in one place. But neither of these quirks are like deal breakers. They're just slight trade-offs, and they each really do well in most of the areas. Baselane's limitation is that it is this financial powerhouse first, and then the other features come a little bit secondary. TurboTenant's limitation is that it's this tenant relationship powerhouse first, and then, everything else comes secondary to that. It really just depends on which part of the job you dislike most. In terms of cost, the pricing for both property management apps is very competitive for the value that they deliver, but they are structured differently. Baselane's core features are free, making it, I think, one of the most cost-effective rent collections options out there, with premium banking add-ons and lending services as those paid upgrades. TurboTenant also has a free tier for rent collection and listings, with their premium plans unlocking more advanced features like deeper screening reports and lease customization. So compared to other landlord rent collection competitors like Stessa or Buildium, I think these two are much more cost-effective and competitive while still being these all-in-one platforms. So to check these out, make sure to click the links in the description for their latest pricing and the available promotional deals. We'll keep those updated so that you can see the current numbers and any special offers for yourself. And at the end of the day, I think both Baselane and TurboTenant really deliver excellently, but in just different ways. If you're an investor focused on maximizing profit, streamlining your finances, and having a complete picture of your portfolio's performance, Baselane is in a league of its own, though. It's not just a rent collection app, it's the financial command center for landlords. So make sure to check that link in the description to get started with current promotions and our special discounts.